What is good? This is Ahead of the Spread presented by Wager Talk, where we check out the open numbers, notable line movements, and discuss key matchups and angles for the next day's games. So you have an early edge for tomorrow. Ronald Cabang, and obviously I'm rocking solo today. Ski Prof is not able to join me. We're gonna miss his insights. It's usually a better, more fun show when he's around. Um, he adds a different angle to the games and looks at them a little bit differently too. So you'll be seeing my side only today. But before we head into checking out the open lines and key movements here, um, gotta talk about how we did today. We did go 2-1. We had the Raptors game under that cashed. I had Memphis in. They didn't get the job done. They did end up winning the game in OT, but that did not cover the number. And then my $5 Tuesday play. So shout out to everyone who picked up the $5 Tuesday play. We got the W with the Warriors game under. So that was today 2-1, and hopefully we just continue going in the positive direction. Currently on a 25-11 run in the NBA, so things are looking up right now. Hoping to finish the season strong here. And with that said, I mean, if you see the scrolling banner down there, wt.buzz / RC for my capper page, and Hakeem on Skee Profit, not here today, but his link right there, wt.buzz / HP. You can get my 7-day NBA, the next 7 days in the NBA for 33% off if you use coupon code NBA33 over on the site. So if you guys are interested in that, make sure you head over to thewagertalk.com. All right, with that said, let's get over to handicapping the games. I'll share my screen here. All right. All right, so we have is it 9 games? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, so today I had to I was coaching my son's basketball team, so I wasn't able to cap the games ahead of time, or at least look at them ahead. So we're gonna be live capping them. So it might be a little bit longer than normal. Yeah, no ski. Yeah, but yeah, no ski tonight. He just called me right before. He said he wasn't able to make it. You know how he's out there in the casinos or something, probably having fun, and wasn't able to get back on time. So, yeah. So hopefully he comes back tomorrow. And then yeah, we'll see how that goes. But we'll go through the games here. We got Toronto and Indiana. Indiana is opened up at -9.5. We do see a -10 at circa. For the most part, 9.5s across the board. We got the total 239. That's come down as low as 237 on Bet Online, but you could still get 238 available at a few places. If you look at the injury report, we'll go to Toronto first. We got Pirtle questionable, and then Brandon Ingram continues to be out. If we go to the Pacers side, we got Halliburton questionable, McConnell questionable, and then Isaiah Jackson out. So we go to moneybar.com. We have situational notes here for the Raptors side. Second game of back-to-back, third game in 4 nights, fourth game in 6. On the Pacers side, they do have the rest advantage. They also have double-digit in-season revenge, third game in 4 nights. We come down to the full season trends here on the second of a back-to-back for the Raptors. 2-7 straight up, but 6-2-1 ATS. When the less rested team, somehow 9-3-1 ATS. So teams aren't able to take advantage of tired legs on the Raptors side. As Road Dogs, 14-10-1 ATS. Nothing significant on the Pacers side. What I see here, unders on the Raptors side, though, as Road Dogs and when less rested. Let's see. Looking over here, Pacers 9-8-1 to their team total under on the full season as home favorites. Raptors defensively as Road Dogs, opponents 15-9-1 to the team total under. Kind of counters this second of a back-to-back, but let's look at last 10 games here. So looking at some of the stats, offensively, Raptors are really struggling right now, but Pacers defense isn't that strong. Pace of play, Raptors playing a slow pace. Defense is pretty solid though. Might be able to limit the Pacers here. Looks like free throw rate is going to be huge advantage on free throw rate on the Pacers side. Points off turnovers. That's one thing that the Pacers do well, but the Raptors actually limit that. Transition buckets here for the Pacers might be an advantage. Mid-range, nothing there that I could see. Actually, Pacers, points in the paint and mid-range, that should be advantage for them as well there. Looks like they're pretty efficient. From the three-point range, definitely the Raptors have the advantage from the three. Pacers not shooting efficiently, so it's inside versus outside right now based on that. And then also the Raptors have the better defense at this point. So I would look towards, what's the number right now? I actually would look towards the Raptors side, even on the second of a back-to-back. Looks like they've been covering in that spot anyways throughout the season. And some of the recent stats say they should be able to limit the Pacers. Let me just look at a couple more things real quick. So looking at the Raptors on the second leg of back-to-back games this season, 7-3 to the over. They've been giving us some points. 6-4 ATS. I think. Let me see. And the road. Yeah, I would lean towards the Raptors side here on this one. Raptors. All right, so Raptors lean in that first game. Just looking at the chat real quick. 9 games, yeah, man. This might be a longer game. It's usually quicker when Skee's here because he dives into it pretty quickly. I kind of take my time. We'll dive into that here. Yes, sir. If you can hit that like and like button and subscribe to the channel as well. We'll dive through it because I haven't really seen anything yet. Raptor JP definitely in line there. Did not see him on the. I don't think I saw him on the injury report. Yeah, so he's not on there right now, from what I've seen. BD's on the Pacer side. I haven't taken anything. So, yeah, I'll probably dive deeper into it. But I would still lean towards the Raptor side based on how we just kept it. All right, so let's go to game 2 here. Blazers and Wizards. Blazers open up at 5.5 on the road against Washington. That's interesting. Okay, so total, and that's 5.5 across the board, still available. Washington, the total 229 at open has come up to as high as 230.5, but Pinnacle still has a 229 available. FanDuel has a 229 available. So if you like the over, definitely line shop. All right, so let's go to injuries. Portland. So Aiden continues to be out. Matisse Thybulle, Robert Williams is out. And then on the Washington side, Sarr, questionable, Brogdon, and Bay out. All right, so situational stuff here. Third game in 4 nights for the Wizards. 4th and 6, coming off a win as a dog. So letdown spot there. This one, I definitely misread this game. I think the way that I should have taken it instead of the Nets was the team total under on the Washington side, because even though they covered, they still stayed under the team total. So I think that might have been the better way to go instead. But let's see if we can read this game a little bit better. All right, so Wizards in that letdown spot. Let's see how they've been. Wizards and P off a win. 7. I put the L. All right, Wizards off a win. 3-6 straight up, 5-4 ATS, 7-2 to the over. Opponents are 7-2 to their team total over. Let's say off a win as a dog. They were all dogs. Okay. All right, so 7-2 to the over. So overlook potentially. So let's dive into the trends here. A whole bunch of red on the season for the stats. All right, let's look at the trends. ATS road favorite 1-1 for the Blazers. Obviously, not road favorites often. The under 2-0 to the under in those two games. So when I see something like this, just if I look at the trends and they go opposite right off the bat, I usually just throw it away. So this is, I probably won't even dive deeper into this game, to be honest. So I don't like this game from the start based on some of the trends and the stats that I see. So I'm gonna skip this one. I'm pretty sure you guys don't like this game anyways. All right, so we got Boston and Detroit. Boston minus 3.5 at opens. We're seeing -4s available. We have the total at 224.5, and this is steaming up pretty quickly up to 226.5, the highest. Can still get 224.5 as Caesars. So line shop there if you like the over. Let's go to injuries. Boston, Porzingis, Cornette, Horford, and Holiday, all questionable. All right, so we go to Detroit side. Fontecchio questionable, Jaden Ivey out. All right, so Moneyball loves that game. Damn. All right, so I'm looking at the chat here. So way too low. Are you talking about the total, or you're saying the line 3.5? Yeah. I initially thought that, so we might be missing something. So let's dive into that. So Celtics obviously on the second leg of back-to-back games, third game in 4 nights. So we had the Pistons. They do have the rest advantage, obviously, double-digit in-season revenge angle. They've been playing really well lately. Third game in 4 nights, fourth game in 6. Somewhat of a fatigue spot, but not as bad as the Celtics on the second leg of back-to-back games. So we go to here. Boston has dominated this matchup this season, but it is 2-2 ATS because they've been strong, like heavy dogs in those previous games. Now we're seeing 3.5. Okay. All right. So if we go to the trends, second leg of back-to-back games, 5-3 straight up, 4-4 ATS. When they're less rested, 5-8 ATS. Road favorites here for the Celtics, 22-4 straight up, 14-12 ATS. If we look at the Celtics, this is an under spot for them. 15-11 to the under as road favorites. When less rested, 9-4. Look at that team total. Celtics team total under might be a spot right here. All right, so 6-2 to the team total under as on the second leg of back-to-back games, less rested than their opponent. 11-2, and Pistons defense pretty solid. Home dog 9-7 to the team total under for their opponents, and when they're more rested, 6-4. All right, let's look at last 10 games. All right, last 10 games. What we see here: Celtics playing a slow pace, Pistons up there in pace, third. Offensively, offensive rating 4th and 5th, pretty solid. Defensive rating, pretty close as well there. The free throw rate kind of balances each other out. So Pistons get to the free throw line at a high rate, but Celtics kind of limit that. And then on the opposite side, Celtics are dead last in getting to the free throw line, and the Pistons actually allow teams to get to the free throw line at a high rate. So that one's pretty interesting. Offensive rebounds edge to the Pistons, but Celtics defensive rebounding rate is pretty solid. Turnover rate, Celtics do have the edge there. They take care of the ball, but they don't force turnovers. 28th in turnover rate forced. So that's interesting there. Second chance points, fast break. So transition buckets. I mean, they play at a fast pace. That's probably a reason why they have a higher average. But with the pace that the Celtics play, they are giving up a good chunk of transition buckets per game. So that might be something, some advantage to the Pistons side. Points in the paint, Pretty even there. Mid-range. Celtics might be able to take advantage in the mid-range. 3-pointers. Celtics. That's a good spot for them here in the corner threes. But the majority of their shots are above the break. And Pistons are pretty solid there. Pistons 8-2 straight up last 10 games. Man, this one's a tough one. This is a tough one. I think the way that I would lean here, I think the Pistons are definitely going to take this more seriously than the Celtics. I think this is a prove-it type game for them. They've been on a good run. And then the Celtics on the second leg of back-to-back games, seems like they struggle in that spot on the season as far as like team total-wise. Let's just look at that real quick. So we go Celtics. Actually, less rested than their opponent. So rest, less than rest. 2. So 11-2 to their team total under. They're averaging around 112.9. What is their team total tomorrow? 114.5. So I think the way that I would lean here would be Celtics team total under 114.5. Celtics. I think that would be the way that I go. Let's go with Pistons and Pete. So looking at the revenge angle for the Pistons. So in the in-season revenge angle, Pistons are 9-7 straight up, 10-6 ATS, 10-6 to the over. Let's see their team totals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. So that's 8-8. Let's say they're the home dog. 3-1 straight up, 2-2 straight up, 3-1 ATS. And that's the revenge angle. So if we look at teams that the Celtics already beat. So if the Celtics beat them in the previous matchup, how did they do in that game? 17-7 straight up, 10-14 ATS. Let's say that they beat them by double digits. Six and 9 ATS, 9-6 to the under, 12-3 to their team total under. They went over their team total because this went into OT. Kind of like this one. So I'm diving this. So just I know it's scary. So I'm just looking at the chat real quick. So team total under sounds crazy. But we've been kind of cashing on these team total unders and unders recently in the second half of the season. And what was I looking at? All right, so Celtics, they did win. Okay. All right. Well, so all right, so I know it's that. So you say Celtics team total under seems scary, but they've actually gone under their team total in 4 of the last 5, 6, 7. Sorry, they've actually gone under their team total a bunch recently. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of the last 12. They've actually stayed under their team total in 10 of their last 12 games. So it's not actually as crazy as it seems. All right, so all right, strong lean there. All right, so let's go to the next game. Kind of took a long time on that one. So Sixers and the Knicks. Knicks home favorites here, 9.5 at open, up to as high as 10.5. Mostly 10s across the board. Can still get 9.5 at Pinnacle. Total 232.5. This has come down to 231, the lowest. And then let's look at injuries. All right, so Embiid ruled out, Lowry out, Gordon and McCain out. Available to play Justin Edwards. And then on the Knicks side, Cat is questionable. Mr. Robinson continues to be out. All right, so we go to the moneyballer.com here. Oops, get that out the way. In-season revenge here for the Sixers, coming off a loss. So bounce back spot here. They did lose to the Bulls by 32 points as 6-point favorites at home. Knicks, the more rested team here. They do have the rest advantage. Come off the loss to Boston. Man, they struggled against Cleveland too. And now they're back at home. All right, so if we go full season trends. At home, as home favorites, Knicks 20-8 straight up, only 13-13-2 ATS. But Sixers really struggle ATS wise. Man, 4-11-1 ATS as road dogs. But here's one thing: we took this the other day, or we didn't take this the other day, but we called this out the other day. Whenever the Sixers are home favorites, they really struggle 1-12 ATS. So pretty close to the road dog situation here, 4-11-1. Their team total 12-4 to the under in this spot. How are the Knicks defense? Nothing too crazy. All right, so let's go to last 10 days. Kind of want to look towards the Knicks side. So defensively, both teams kind of struggling here. But if you look at who the Knicks played, Boston, Cleveland, they definitely went under the team total over here. Chicago did. Atlanta scored a chunk there. Boston again. So they've been playing some decent offenses, especially right here. These two here, they played Boston twice too. So that could be a little bit misleading as far as their defensive rating. Sixers 27th in defensive rating, struggling offensively. Knicks definitely an advantage here at the free throw line. Transition, Sixers solid there. They have the advantage in fast break. Knicks really struggling to limit that here. Inside the arc, points in the paint might be something the Sixers could take advantage of, but no Embiid. So not really sure there. Mid-range game right here. This is something the Knicks will be able to do well in. And then from three, Knicks should be able to score above the break threes here. But their volume from above the break threes is not that high. I kind of want to lean towards the Knicks here, but this is probably a game I would stay away from. Let's look at Knicks and rest greater than O rest. So when they're more rested than their opponent, 6-7-1 ATS, 8-5-1 to the under. Kind of struggling in that spot. All right, so Knicks have failed to cover in 4 straight games. 7 of the last 9 they failed to cover, and then the Sixers, they're struggling too. This is a stay away game for me. That is a stay away game. Okay, nothing there on that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we got 5 more games here. We got Atlanta and Miami. Miami -1 open, has moved to 2.5 the highest. Can still get 1.5 at FanDuel. The total 229.5. This has come down to as low as 228 at FanDuel, but still have 229.5 available at a few places. Injuries. Let's go to Atlanta. Larry Nance, Jalen Johnson. So same stuff there. And then we go to Miami. Bam is questionable. All right. That's huge. And then we got Jovic out, Love, and Drew Smith. All right. So moneyballer.com here. Hawks and Heat. 3rd game in 4 nights. Heat double-digit in-season revenge. 3rd game in 4 nights and 4th and 6th. So they do have some fatigue on this side. They also 3 straight games on the road. Now they're at home. Opposite for Atlanta, 3 straight games at home, then go on the road here. Okay. Home favorite situation, 8-9 ATS on the season right now. 14-9 ATS for the Hawks. And what is the number? This is to a point where you kind of just think about who's going to win. So Heat as home favorites, 10-7 straight up. Hawks are 10-13 as road dogs. Over under, kind of opposites here. Both teams kind of are profitable to the over on the season, though, just in general. This is interesting. So both teams defensively pretty solid in their spots. Let's look at last 10 games. All right, so last 10 games, offensively, the Heat are really struggling right now. 28th in points per game, 104.1. Hawks putting up a good chunk of points, but majority of that is right here in a couple games. Atlanta versus Detroit, Atlanta versus New York, and then pretty consistent otherwise. Or actually, they struggled against Miami right here. So they played back-to-back switch and then switch locations. That's a weird angle. All right, so then Heat with a better defense. That kind of cancels each other out. What was the score? 98-86. Came down only just a couple points. All right. This one seems interesting. Road dog in the last 10 games, 8-2 ATS for the Hawks. Opposite for the Heat. I mean, both teams going in opposite directions right now. I think that kind of just ride the hot team, right? I would probably lean towards Atlanta. But this is probably a game I'll eventually just stay away from. Lean Atlanta. The Heat's offense is really struggling. What is their team total? Let me look at this team total real quick. 114.5, 115.5. They don't go over 114 often at all. Team total under. Heat as a favorite. And I'm not going to mess with this one. All right, I'm going to pass on this game. Okay, so OKC and Brooklyn. Heavy road favorites here. OKC, 16.5 at open. Seeing it as high as 17.5 at Pinnacle. Can still get 16.5 at BetMGM. Total 215.5 up to as high as 218. Can still get the lowest I see here, 216.5 at FanDuel. Injuries. Let's go to OKC first. Nothing there. And Brooklyn. Claxton, suspension. He's ruled out. Cam Johnson, questionable. D'Angelo Russell, Cam Thompson, out. Situational stuff here. Fatigue spot here in the Thunder. Third game in 4 nights. Fourth game in 6. Also coming off an OT game. And then a bounce back spot potentially. But and that was a tough game that they lost against Minnesota, being up by 25 or whatever, and then Minnesota going on a 16-0 run in the last few minutes. So could be emotional game that they're coming off of. Nets, on the other hand, bounce back spot. They did lose to Washington. Their defense continues to be pretty solid. So for me, just initial thoughts right off the bat is OKC team total under from a spot perspective. All right, so let's go to the totals. So home dogs. So Nets been an under team all season long. Home dogs specifically 14-6 to the under. So really strong there. Team totals 14, 5-1 to the under. They're also limiting opponents. All right, let's go to Thunder. Thunder and rest equals 0, 116.2. All right, sorry, not rest equals 0. POT greater than 0. So coming off an OT game. So this is their first OT game that they're coming off of. All right. They've gone over in 3 straight. This one went into OT. They've actually failed to cover in 3 of the last 4. Schedule is not that great though. So they failed to cover this one because it was a second of a back-to-back right before the All-Star break. Failed to cover here and lost here as well as favorites. Let's see how they do off a loss. 10-1 straight up, 6-5 ATS, 8-3 to the over. So definitely not a team total under spot. Thunder, let's see how they do as double-digit favorites. They've been pretty profitable there. They are coming off of that loss to Minnesota. Both teams on the second leg of back-to-back games. What if we say that they're rested? So that becomes way better. 14-5-1. In this spot too, they limit their opponents offensively. 8, 12-8 to the under. Let's go to the net side. Nets struggling offensively. All right, so instead of, damn, that's a lot of unders in a row, guys. Holy, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 out of the last 14 have gone under. And they've limited their opponents in 13 out of the last 14 to the team total under. And under on a Thunder game. Thunder. So low total on the Thunder side, 7-4 to the under. I think, and all right, so if you look at their opponents, 2. So 9-2 to the team total under. I think, all right, so I think the way that I would go here, stay away from the spread, take the Nets team total under. Nets team total under, that would be Nets team total under would be 100. Shoo. Nets team total under 100. What the? All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. They scored 101 against the Thunder last time they faced each other. All right. I think I'm gonna lean towards the Thunder team total under, whether they cover or not. I feel like Thunder's defense will limit them. All right, so Nets team total under. Okay. I don't think they could score. Yeah, I don't think the Nets will be able to score here. No D'Angelo, especially if Cam Johnson is out. I don't think they're gonna be able to score. Okay, let's go to the next game. Clippers and Bulls. All right, so Clippers and Bulls open up 7.5 as road favorites here for the Clippers, up to 8.5 at the highest, but mostly 8s across the board. Total 229 has come down to 228, the lowest, but I actually see a 229.5 at FanDuel, so it's kind of all over the board. So whichever you like, just go ahead and line shop. If we go to injuries, Clippers. Ben Simmons upgraded to available. Norman Powell downgraded to out. Kawhi Leonard is available. All right, so that's interesting. I'm gonna look at the Clippers without Powell because he's been a beast. All right, so we go Chicago. Jalen Smith out. Ayo is questionable. Vucevic is downgraded to unlikely to play, but not completely out yet. I hate those. Unlikely to play. Is he out or not? All right, so Lonzo Ball questionable. Patrick Williams out. I don't know why they still have Torrey Craig there. All right, so then we go to moneyballer.com. Letdown spot for the Bulls. Huge win over Philadelphia, 142-110. So we'll look at that spot there on the Bulls side. We go to the Clippers, in-season revenge, third game in 4 nights as well. They did lose to Detroit, a couple nights ago. All right, so let's look at the Bulls here as home dogs, 7-14 straight up, 10-10-1 ATS. Road favorite situation, not that great for the Clippers. Actually, on the road in general, not that great ATS wise. Totals lean towards the over in their specific spots. All right, let's look at last 10. Last 10 games, both teams struggling offensively and defensively. Opposites in pace, so Clippers are slow. Bulls are up there. They're giving up a good, effective field goal percentage allowed. Clippers are allowing teams to shoot really efficiently right now. Turnovers is an issue for the Clippers, but Bulls don't force a high rate. Clippers, so they force a high rate as far as turnovers go. So that could be an advantage for the Clippers as far as points off turnovers. Field goal percentage. So points in the paint could be another advantage for the Clippers. Mid-range, nothing there. 3-point shooting, effective from the corner, but their volume is super low. Not efficient from above the break. The Bulls are shooting pretty efficiently from above the break, though. And the Clippers struggle to shoot there. What's the number? 7.5? 8.5? On the road? Okay. All right, so let's look at Bulls on the letdown spot. So we go Bulls. And so win off as a dog. So they struggle in this spot. 3-13 straight up, 4-12 ATS. So they don't continue that momentum off of that win off as a dog. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Let's look at the Clippers side. They have been struggling to cover the number, but they've had a tough schedule. So second leg of back-to-back games right there. Who they have coming on? Oh, they got the Lakers on deck too. So they're going from. So they went to Detroit. They're going to Chicago, then coming back to LA. It's like a fade spot for both teams. It seems like. All right, so let's go to revenge angle for the Clippers. So if we go. 5-8 ATS, 9-4 to the over. 7-5. So we go back here. So advantages would be points off turnovers for Clippers, points in the paint, and then on this side, 3-point shooting for the Bulls. This is probably going to be a stay away game for me. Let's go back to full season. Full season. ATS 4-6, 10-10. All right, so I'm gonna lean towards the Clippers side. I don't think I'm gonna bet this one. So I'll lean Clippers. But I would, if I was to bet it, it would be the Clippers. All right, so 2 games left. Sorry, let me go back to the chat again. It's tough to do it solo and then going into the chat. All right, so what game we just look at? Clippers, Bulls. Bulls off of performance. Yeah, probably a letdown spot. Actually, that's another thing to look at. All right, so let's look at the Bulls after they scored a bunch of points. Do they let down? Let's just say 120. 8-13. They scored 130. 3-5. 3-4 1 ATS. Excuse me. All right, so yeah, there's a heavy dog in this spot. They haven't covered. All right, yeah. No, I would lean towards the Clippers. All right, 2 games left. We got Sacramento and Utah. Sorry, I don't see the chat. All right, so Sacramento and Utah. Sacramento opened up at 7.5, up to as high as 9.5. Do still have an 8.5 available at FanDuel. Total 236 at open is going down to 235.5 at some places, but still 236 is available too. All right, so injuries. Sacramento, nothing there. Utah. John Collins out, Markkanen out, Kessler questionable, Sexton is out. That's tough. Okay, so some of their bigs are out, and then Kessler is questionable. All right, so moneyballer.com here. They got in-season revenge, 4th game in 6 nights. They've been at home though, so it's not like they've been traveling. Sacramento, Sac to Utah, not a far travel spot. Home dog situation, 6-20 straight up, 14-12 ATS. Not a good spot as road favorites here for the Kings, 6-10-1. But a lot of this was prior to the trade, so we'll see how things have gone in recent form. Totals, nothing significant there. Jazz team total over 15-11. On the season, actually pretty strong, 34-22. And then Kings defense, not that great. Opponents 32-24-1 to the over. So initial thoughts here, Jazz team total over. But we'll see how they do without Collins and Markkanen. So we go to the Jazz. So the Jazz without Collins, 3-17 straight up, 11-8-1 ATS. So they definitely don't win. What was the line again? 9. That's actually a really big number for the Kings. So if we go to the Kings side, coming off of that win and cover, that was a huge blowout. I think this could be recency bias here. Let me add Markkanen into this real quick. So both Collins and Markkanen are out. 2-7 straight up, 4-4-1 ATS. The lines are huge on this, and that's where. All right, so that's why they cover majority of them. And this is another heavy line. Let's go last 10 games. Kings defense, not that strong. There's no way their defense is this bad, and they can cover nearly double digits. I know they beat Charlotte, but Charlotte's been struggling like crazy lately. It seems like Utah is actually trying to fight, right? So they lost by 2 here. They covered that one. They actually beat Houston outright. I would look towards Utah, even without Collins and Markkinen. There's like what Skee says normally is like you can't really back a team to cover if they can't make stops, and Kings really can't make stops right now. Mid range points in the, so Jazz. All right, I would lean towards Jazz here plus the points. All right, last game on the board. So we got the Spurs and the Rockets. Houston opened up at -8.5, seeing 9.5s, but mostly nines across the board. Total has steamed up already. So open at 224.5, as high as 228. Actually still see some low totals here. So FanDuel has 225, 225.5. So definitely line shop depending on what you want to do here as far as totals. All right, so we go to injuries. Oops. San Antonio. So just Wembanyama, who's out for the season. Go to the Rockets side. Rockets are getting healthy. So Van Vliet is questionable, but they are definitely getting healthier. All right, so a lot of fatigue situations here for the Spurs. Second of a back-to-back, all the way up to fifth game in 7 nights. So that's tough for them. Rockets also second leg of back-to-back games, fourth game in 6 nights. Spurs have the double-digit in-season revenge angle here. So we have second leg of back-to-back games. Both teams kind of struggling from an ATS perspective. 4-8-1 for the Rockets, 4-5 ATS for the Spurs. The totals, the under, which way is that total going? The total is going up to 227. Interesting. All right, so second leg of back-to-back games, trending towards the under. 9-4 to the under for the Rockets, 6-3 for the Spurs. Offense is struggling because their team totals are going under. So under is the initial look. Let's look at last 10 games. So we have the fatigue spot here on the Spurs side. Their offense is already struggling. Rockets definitely have the better defense, and I feel like if with them getting healthier, their defense will go back to what it was earlier this season. Their offense should come back up a little bit too. Pace of play, Rockets pace slow, play slow. Spurs are a little bit faster with Fox there. Defensive effective field goal percentage allowed. So Rockets definitely good. Just their offense is really struggling right now. But like I said, if they're healthy, I think their offense will come around. Turnover and turnover rate force definitely the edge to the Spurs side. So turnover off points off turnovers should go to the Spurs. If we look at points in the paint, nothing there. They kind of cancel each other out. Mid range, maybe Rockets could take advantage of that mid range right there. And then 3-point shooting. Neither team really shooting efficiently, but 3-point defense definitely on the Rockets side. 8, man, that seems like a lot. 8.5 seems like a lot. Let's go here real quick. So we go to Spurs. They've been struggling ATS wise. 3, 6, 7, 8. They failed to cover 8 of the last 10. Their offense is struggling, going under their team total in 3 straight. They've gone over in general in 5 straight games. Their defense is actually pretty solid. So 4 of their last 5 opponents have stayed under their team total. If we go to the Rocket side, they won and covered the last one. Other than that, they were struggling here for a little bit, but like I said, they were injured. They were dealing with injuries. A lot of back-to-backs here in the last couple weeks. In February alone, they've had 1, 2, 3. This is their 4th back-to-back. So we go and rest equals 0. 4-9 straight up, 4-9, 9-4 to, sorry, 4-9 ATS, 9-4 to the under. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4-9 to their team total under as well. Defensively, 4-9 to the team total under. Sorry, 9-4 to the team total under. All right, so if we go to Spurs, under. So it looks like under might be the way to go here. Under in general. Recent form says under. Trends say under. Spot says under because of fatigue. Neither of the offenses is really going strong right now, so I would look towards under in this game. Lean under. Opposite of where it's going. Definitely don't agree with the total moving up. So Houston Spurs Rockets under. All right, so that is the slate there. Let me go to the chat. I haven't been looking at the chat. So Jazz are good at home. Team total under for Hornets from here on out. Yeah, dude, definitely. Let's see. Do you guys check in tomorrow again before game time to tell us for sure what you're going with? No, we just do the night games. Sometimes we'll have bets prior, but sometimes we don't. And then if not, then we have our, obviously Wager Talk has our official plays. But always check the Wager Talk page because we do also give our free plays. Most of the time, our free plays that I give out are actually plays that I give to my clients. I don't like to say anything that I don't actually bet myself. So if I put a free play out there on the page, it's usually something that I've given to clients. Yeah, best bets I'll get there. I will get there. All right, so real quick before we get to the recap, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. Leave comments after the show as well because it lets Wager Talk know that you guys value the show and that they'll keep it going and keep it running because this is a new show for Wager Talk, kind of testing it out. So hopefully they continue going for the rest of the season. And then make sure you guys go check out wt.buzz/HP for Skee's Capper page and then /RC for mine. And then you have that coupon code right there, NBA33, to get 33% off a 7-day pass for NBA specifically, not all access, but NBA. But yeah, I think over the last, since the All-Star break, we've been breaking down games pretty solidly. I think a lot of people have been commenting that they've been winning, watching our show, and they've been beating the line a little bit more often than they have been in previous previously prior to watching the show. So that is the goal of this show, is for you guys to get information, make decisions prior to the lines moving too much, right? So a lot of the games that we've been betting have been beating the line by a few points. Obviously it doesn't guarantee a win, but it gives you a better chance at getting that win. So hopefully you guys value the show here and you guys hit that like and subscribe button. And then also themoneyballer.com is the site that we use to see the trends and stats. You can see it's laid out, color coded pretty easily for handicappers, so that they don't have to look at any of the fluff that doesn't make sense from a handicapping perspective. So check out themoneyballer.com, and then Killer Sports is what I use for any of the ad hoc lookups, and then Odds Logic. The Odds Logic link is in the description. Make sure you guys, if you want to test out, these live odds and custom pages for the books and all that stuff, that's in the description. All right, so let's go to the recaps. So some of the games I didn't really see any advantages for either teams or any strong looks. So these are the ones that I was leaning towards. I didn't bet anything. I said that earlier. I didn't bet anything. I pretty much kind of ran through them with you guys. So Raptors plus 9.5 is a lean. All these are leans for now. Celtics team total under 114.5. Leaning towards Atlanta on the side. Nets team total under 100. No, it's a low number, but we kind of dove into it there. Lean towards the Clippers side. Jazz plus the points, and then Spurs, Rockets under. So those are all the leans that we went through. If you are interested in, figuring out what I end up playing, just make sure you guys head over to Wager Talk. All right, with that said, guys, always have to end the show like this. Whether you fade or follow, it is on you to make that call. Good luck with our reaction. Until next time, peace.